Chad Kroger, JT Parr, and Rob Cohen. Welcome to An Actor Despairs. How are you guys doing?
We're not
Feeling good.
despairing. We're not despairing.
Yeah. Staying stoked. I feel good. Great to be here.
JT and Chad, I said that wrong. Chad and JT, Rob and I, Rob directed the original Fast and the Furious, and man, we're such incredible fans of like what you've been doing and everything that you've done at the city council and getting the Paul Walker statue erected. I have so many questions, and Rob's going to co-host with me. So, Rob, let's dig in, baby.
Well, first of all, I want to give them chops and kudos because I think what they're doing is so cool. It's so imaginative, and of course, it touches me deeply because I was on the sets those days making those scenes happen that have gone out into the world and into people's imaginations, like Chad and JT, and they've done something. I'm going to make you an offer. If you need a pizza boy when you're doing that sequence, I'll volunteer. You can have the original pizza boy.
Oh, yeah.
20 years older, but still the pizza boy.
That'd be amazing. Well, thank you so much. I mean, Fast and Furious is my favorite movie. I pretty much know it by heart. So I think having this time in the quarantine it was just like the perfect time to recreate these scenes in our own way since we were separate. So it's really been kind of a dream come true. And then when we got the message from you saying that you've seen them and you enjoyed them, I mean, we were just over the moon. I mean, it is amazing. Yeah. So it's an honor to be.
You got the nuances down. You got the rhythm down. You even got Paul Walker's walk down.
Thank you.
God almighty.
What's your Chad and JT? What's your friend that plays Vince?
Strider.
Oh God, he was born to play that role, man.
Yeah. He really embodies it and brings kind of a different energy to it than the original.
Yeah, tell him he's got to shave his head.
Yeah.
So
for the team.
Chad and JT, how did you guys get started with how did you two meet each other?
Well, we met actually in high school at this Rager, so basically this party was kind of dying down, and I brought out a Froze beer bong, the Mount Chugmore, and my buddies Kellen, Reese, and Landon were all gonna chug, but Kellen couldn't because he was on antibiotics, and then JT and I knew each other. Like I'm a surfer, he's a bodyboarder, so we like have some. We were like acquaintances, but then he stepped in to do the beer bong, and sort of a bond was formed from there.
An eternal one.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. You guys have such amazing chemistry. It's like I could never imagine you guys not friends. You know what I mean? Like it's like you guys are the Meg Ryan and the Tom Hanks. You guys just fill it out so well. But I'm curious.
Oh, thank you.
Dude.
Was like
you got mail from me, dude. That really tugged on my heartstrings, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, dude, Dave Chappelle's finest performance.
Yeah, I know. Thanks to your best friend in that.
It is pretty overlooked on that.
A piazza.
Yeah. And so then, how did the whole we got Cody Walker here. You guys ready?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Honored.
Bring him on. Hey, Cody.
Cody Walker, how you doing?
Cody Walker's in the house.
What's up, Rob? How are you, man?
I'm fine, Cody. It's great to see you, man.
It's great to see you too.
Cody, I'm Ryan Perez waving up here. I got Chad Kroger, JT Parr, and Rob Cohen, of course.
Cody, how are you? It's such an honor, dude.
It's an honor to meet you. Yeah, we're huge fans.
Yeah,
cool,
man.
Guys, thanks for having me. Right on.
Yeah, it means so much, man. All of us are going to kind of ask you some questions. What have you been up to, brother? I see you're doing a lot of awesome films, working with Matt Luber, the best.
We're all kind of reinventing ourselves a little bit right now too, right? With everything that's going on.
Really?
I love being a dad. I've got a 2.5-year-old little girl. She's keeping us really busy right now. We've got another one on the way, November 1st. I'm sharing it right here with the world right now because we actually haven't
I feel so blessed.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
congrats.
Now I'm sounding that good.
Thank you all very much. Yeah,
That's
we didn't know. We ended up with the daughter the first time around. We didn't know what she was gonna be then. We decided not to know, and we're doing the same thing again. So it's like the best surprise ever. It's a lot of fun. So
That's
But,
amazing.
So exciting.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
Man, we're here to celebrate you, your family, your brother, and but we got so many questions for you. Obviously, we know you did a stand-in on Fast 7. At that moment, like, I know having a brother in the business can go one or two ways. You're either like, I have nothing I want to do with that business, or I could see myself in that. Did something switch for you?
Well, see, like we all of us grew up acting as kids. I did commercials, acting classes. I was auditioning when I was a little kid, and I had great parents. We didn't have like those crazy parents where it was like, you're gonna do this. It was like it was at our own will. We had fun doing it. It's something that Paul stuck with and continued to do. And I think it's a crazy business. The Hollywood is a crazy world, and Paul was very supportive, and just like no BS, was very supportive in people doing anything but the Hollywood thing. He did, he liked to surf, and he only really wanted to work on projects that he was really passionate about, where he really liked the content. Otherwise, like, good luck getting that guy on the phone. He drove everyone, his agents, his manager, crazy all the time. 1 foot in, 1 foot out the door all the time. Like, he was that guy. But
posted up in Hawaii a lot, right?
Yeah, he posted up in Hawaii a lot. Went out there all the time.
Were you with him on those trips?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We'd run out to Hawaii. I'm sorry, Rob.
No, I was just going to say, he and I met in Maui, by accident, and I was developing Fast and Furious, which was then called either Racer X or Redline, some horrible title. And, that's where I told him about it in Huelo, in Paella. And then we went off to Mama's Fish House and celebrated that we were going to do the movie together. And he never backed out, not on that one.
He was all about that from the get-go. I think Matt Luber, his manager, tells a really good story about that. Or Paul had told Matt, look, I want to do a movie where I'm like an undercover cop and there's fast cars and hot chicks. and
a gun. And a gun. Yeah, he said to me, do I drive fast cars? I said, blah, blah. Yep. I'm an undercover cop, so I get a gun. Yep, get a gun. I get to shoot the gun. Yeah, you get to shoot the gun. And are there hot chicks? And I go, as many as you want. We're still writing the script.
Well, we got both Chad and JT, who have been really carrying the torch for Paul Walker. I'm not sure if you've seen some of their videos of the work that they've done. Have you?
Yeah. I have. When this opportunity was proposed to be on here with you guys, it's funny. I think when you guys did the, I think it was the Huntington Beach City Council meeting. When you guys went and you did that. Like I watch a lot of my content on YouTube these days, and so. I actually had just organically seen it because it went all over the place. And some people were like, yo, man, is that offensive to you? I'm like, no, dude, this is hilarious. Like, I thought it was so funny. I know Matt saw it back then too. He texted me, yo, did you see this? I'm just like, oh my God, this is epic. It was so funny. I think ultimately they told you, hey, Paul wasn't even, born here or something like that.
His cousin went to high school or some shit.
Yeah. No, that was I got a real kick out of that. I know Paul would have thought that was hilarious, you guys. So yeah, I very much aware of your work over the years. I've seen you on national news, I think. A couple of different times. So yeah, right on.
Chad, JT, can you talk about how that all got started?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. That means so much to us. I mean, we're
means
such
the world to me.
huge fans, and
right on.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Fast and Furious is, as I was telling Rob, is my favorite movie growing up. So it just has held such a special place in my heart. And then, yeah, JT and I sort of came together, and we sort of had this idea to go into the council. Just, our whole thing is sort of raising stoke. We want to, get the world stoked again. And yeah, we just sort of sat down, wrote together, and went from there. And we didn't really anticipate this sort of the response. It was just kind of weird, speaking from the heart, I guess. So
Did they ever move or do anything with your request?
they well, they rejected it the first time, but then they erected like a 1 foot statue. So we asked them to make it bigger, and that's sort of
Oh,
where
they
we
did erect a
got.
1 foot statue.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Where is it?
Well, it was just in the city hall.
Okay.
So one of the council members, Tim, he had like a basically it was an action figure, and he put it in city hall, and so
That's amazing.
But we're still, I mean, we're working hard to get the statue erected. It's just we've come into, it's like more difficult than we thought it would be. There's like logistical issues and stuff like that.
yeah.
Well, we could take down some racist Civil War.
Yeah,
general
now's the
and-
time.
There'd be
Yeah,
enough
it's good
space
time,
there
right.
somewhere
Yeah.
to improve the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So Cody, what else have you been working on, brother?
So yeah, I've done some acting here and there since Fast. A couple different TV shows, a web series. Did a pilot that it didn't take off, unfortunately. It was a lot of fun. I was running around and blowing stuff up and beating people up and being like the Jason Bourne of that universe type of thing. That's always fun. I like the physical stuff. I'm an athletic guy. I like to run around. I like to, I used to do jujitsu. Paul was a big influence on that on me, and I just like to tumble around and do that sort of thing. But I'm really passionate about cars. Couple years ago, I started really living that next chapter where I bought what's called a Honda S2000. And then I turned it into a totally track focused car. And so I've been taking that out to track and perfecting my skills. Ultimately, I'd like to do time attack racing, which originated in Japan. It's not like a wheel to wheel racing where there's two cars, on track at the same time. They're timing your lap, and they're timing your pace through different portions of that lap. And so that's how they determine winners. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, I'm really digging that. Running Reach Out Worldwide, which was Paul's foundation, his charity that he had founded back in 2010, and been super busy with that. I mean, with this pandemic raging, we've kind of had to reimagine what it was that Row was going to do, because we can't throw volunteers on planes. Like, everything was just so difficult. So one thing that we discovered was a huge need, and still continues to be, is hand sanitizer. So what we did that was really cool. I'm so proud of the whole team and figuring this out. But hand sanitizer just disappeared because everyone was panic buying. And so we actually found a distillery up in Oregon that we started working with, that was providing us with some of the raw materials, and we started making our own hand sanitizer per the WHO guidelines.
Wow.
And started shipping that to nursing homes, public service facilities, fire departments, police stations, basically anybody that wanted it, we were sending it. And things have changed a bit since then, and we're working with a manufacturer that's actually providing that to us, and we're providing it free of charge to all of those facilities across the country. So that's been a really cool, we call it the Clean One Initiative. So that's been a big need. It's still needed. It's crazy.
That's so beautiful. For the viewers listening, where could we get more information about that?
Yeah, they can check out the website. It's www.roww.org. So row.org. You can check it out. That's the landing page for the for the foundation, and they can see what we're up to. Also, Facebook is a great resource for us. Social media, we post a lot up there, like what we're doing, what communities we're serving, and stuff like that. So those are the social media. I think social media is one of the greatest and the worst things to ever happen to us.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Rob,
You got that
what-
right. That's a
what-
definite double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Rob, what are some of your earliest memories of Cody?
Well, Cody came into the Gap. I remember him in Toronto when we were doing the Skulls.
Mhm.
And Paul, we were new to each other, and that was the first go round. And the first thing I discovered was he had a handsome younger brother that was
Very
visiting.
handsome.
And the second thing I discovered is he was banging my secretary. I had a really good looking secretary, and
That's awesome.
she took the Walker drop.
Well, Cody, today is a day of celebration. We were going to sign some posters, and we wanted to give it to Reach Out Worldwide. I can send it to Luber to send to you. And then I really want to do an episode with you solo, if that's cool.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that'd
I'll
be
reach
cool.
out to Matt. And, dude, I'm so grateful that you came on. Chad, JT, you got any final questions for Cody?
Do you surf? I guess.
Yeah.
I guess you meant Maui, so
Yeah. Paul was the surfer.
you're right.
I'm not much of a surfer. It's weird. I don't know how it turned out the way it did. I was a swimmer. I played water polo in high school.
Yeah.
I was not blessed with good knees. So I
Right.
played all the traditional sports as a kid, and then around middle school is when kind of my knees started flaring up and stuff like that. So I got into aquatics. I'm a great swimmer.
Yeah.
I never, you know what it is? You know what it was? So being so much younger, I was the accident of the family. So Paul was 15 years older than I was, and then we have two siblings in between us.
So you're the last child?
I am, yeah. I'm the youngest one. So, what it was growing up and going surfing with all of the older guys that were just like so good, and I would just get barreled. I would just get killed. I get caught on the outside, and I don't know, it wasn't fun for me, and so
Right.
I just kind of crushed my confidence, I think, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is a you thing. Like, I can't do that. And I think if I would have been introduced to it in a different way where I had other guys like more my skill level, maybe it would have been a little bit more fun, but
Yeah.
no,
That's a tough one.
unfortunately.
Tough one.
Yeah. So it was kind of a random question, but I was just
No.
Yeah, I got kind of a random one too. I think, did you do roll jujitsu in Santa Barbara? Is that where you? Yeah, because I had some friends who said they rolled with you and Paul.
Oh, yeah, right on. Yeah.
And I guess I was going to ask two questions. What's your favorite submission? And then I noticed that in a lot of Paul's films, there was jujitsu, like in The Legend of Bobby Zine and some of the later Fast and Furiouses. You'll see him like hitting triangle chokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
that his influence on the stunt coordinators? Like, was he asking them to put that in there?
Yeah, also the director on that, the name escapes me right now, is a huge UFC fan.
Oh yeah, because at the beginning of the
he
movie,
hired a lot of UFC guys in the movie. Like that was the look he wanted. But yeah, I lived in I went to college in Santa Barbara. So I started jiu-jitsu with Paragon Jiu-Jitsu. It's based out of it's actually based out of Ventura. They got schools in Santa Barbara, San Luis Obispo. There's a few other places. Frangina is the founder. Really good friends with Paul. So Paul studied under him for number of years. And so, yeah, I rolled at the jiu-jitsu, the Santa Barbara location for a couple years that I was there. My favorite submission is the triangle choke. You just mentioned it, Bobby Z. I've got longer legs like Paul does. So it's something that just kind of works for me. So
anatomically makes sense.
And you're also just,
Yeah.
you're face to face with them as they're,
Right.
black out.
You got that nice eye contact.
it's the eye contact. It's a little savage.
Yeah,
Putting them to
that's
sleep.
cool.
Putting them to sleep.
Yeah, just go to sleep.
Wasn't Paul originally hooked up with the Gracies?
Um,
I kind of remember in the early part of his fascination with it.
that could have been it. I know that he was. I mean, Paul did go to different schools when he was out there in Hawaii too.
It's
He
huge
was
out
going
there.
with somebody else. I actually went there with him one time. It was years ago. I can't remember, but the one that he was most consistent with for many years, who Paul would actually fly out to join him sometimes when he was filming, would have been Frangina from Paragon. Great, it's a great school. They're a powerhouse of a school. He came from Alliance, straight out of Brazil. He's
Wow.
really good dude.
Final question for you, Cody. Are you guys pretty much hit by the pandemic too? Are you still able to hit the tracks, or is that pretty much not a go right now for some time?
That's a great question. So the traditional track day stuff is kind of was a little quiet for a while, and now they're kind of getting away with it with like private track day events. So it's like limited number of people, social distancing. We're outside in the open air. I mean, it's not, you can be as social, I guess, as you want to be, but you're there, you're tinkering on your car, you're getting in your car, you're putting on a helmet, you're running around the track, you know?
Yeah.
So things like that have opened back up again. I'm actually going to the track tomorrow. So.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
That's
Gonna be
awesome.
Cool.
Well,
Make sure you sign your autographs with your mask on, okay?
Well, dude, Cody Walker, man, thank you so much for taking the time. We're going to do an episode together. I'll be in touch with Mike and Matt and JT, Chad, Rob. Any parting words?
Yeah, give my love to your parents.
Will do, Rob.
Okay? Tell them not a day goes by that I don't think of you all.
Appreciate it, Rob. Really good to see you. This is a fun little meeting, guys. Chad, JT, Ryan, Rob, thank you all so very much. This is really cool.
Cody,
It's been an honor.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So great to meet you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
We're
You're
going to do it
looking
again
great.
very soon, man. Enjoy the track tomorrow, all right?
All right. Sounds good, boys.
All right. Much
All right,
love.
Papa.
All right.
Have a good
Okay,
one.
Papa.
Take care.
That was fun.
It's Paul Walker who got me into surfing. You know?
Really? Yeah, I saw in your Instagram handle it says surf. I
Yeah,
was like,
Surf
yeah.
PGA, you know, like Directors Guild America. But
Yeah.
you know what the thing he kept saying to me, "You're a surfer. You're a surfer." I'm not a surfer. I didn't grow up by the ocean. The whole idea of being in there with all the kelp and seals and crap, that doesn't turn me on. And
Right.
he goes, no, man, you're a surfer. You're a surfer.
Yeah.
And one day we were shooting fast, and he comes to set, and he's got this beautiful Roberts 7.2, and he goes, "I had this made for you. This is your board. I want you going out there, and I want you to learn how to use it." And you know, I put it in my living room. It was like nice furniture, you know, it's like there. And then one day I was in Maui, and I went, you know what? Paul says I'm a surfer. I better try this shit. And I got a lesson, and I'm absolutely bit in the ass. And
Right.
I came home from Maui. I went right to ZJ's, and I spent $4,000 on surf stuff. I mean, that salesman was the luckiest guy ever lived. I was going, well, what do I need? He goes, you want to be a longboarder or shortboard? I want to be both. Okay, give me the longboard. Buy the longboard, buy the shortboard, buy the board bags, buy the surf racks. Got rid of my 2-seater Mercedes, right? Got a nice wagon. And, you know, I put my house up for sale in the Hollywood Hills and moved to Venice. And it was like, I was so crazed with it. And, you know, I made this beautiful place down in Bali that I have a home there that is also a boutique hotel now. And so if you guys ever want to go surfing in Bali, you've got an elegant home waiting for you.
Oh, dude, that'd be fire.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
What is it? Uluwatu? Is that the big break out there?
Ulu, yeah, but that's not for me. You don't pick up surfing when you're 50 and then go do Ulu. That's called I don't want to live anymore. But no, there are so many beautiful breaks, you know.
Yeah.
In Bali.
That's so
Yeah, JT and I've been talking about there's especially since the beaches are now open. There's something about surfing, even if the waves aren't good. There's something about getting in the water and just feeling the sun. I mean, even if you're having a if you're like anxious in the morning or something, and you just go for a paddle. I mean, it just cures all.
Yeah, it does. And there's something about being out and looking back at the land
Yeah.
changes your whole perspective.
Right.
And we know how powerful those waves can be, and we know how that ocean has so much energy in it. And if you're open to it, you go out there and you absorb that energy. So if you got a bad work day or a bad relationship day or something, that ocean just fills you with a whole other energy, and you go, she's not that important. Or whatever happened today in the movie business doesn't mean a damn. This is what matters.
Right.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the city council, Chad and JT, can you talk about like once you did that one, was it immediately viral or did it take a little bit?
It was interesting. So we did it, and then I believe it was 2 or 3 days after. We didn't even release it yet. A journalist at the council was there, and you can actually see him in the video because he's looking around and he's what's going on? And and then so I saw it on Facebook that San Clemente Times posted it, like the video, and it went viral from there.
Wow.
So it wasn't even really connected to us at that point. Like people didn't really know who we were still. And yeah, it just blew up from there. And then so we sort of found this thing of like raising Stoke and, the city council and just sort of talking about things that we're passionate about to petition for, and then it led to house parties and
Scooters.
4th of July. We need, like 10 4th of July.
Yeah, you did that on Howard Stern, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's awesome. And JT, I loved when you sung that Nickelback Spider-Man song.
Yeah, that song was a huge influence on me.
Oh man, God, that was
Josie from Saliva.
outside of The Dark Knight, one of the best comic book movies of all time.
I totally agree. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 drilled it. And actually, speaking of music from films, I wanted Rob, when Randy Edelman gave you To the Stars for Dragonheart, did you know it was going to be such an did you know right away it was such an epic score? Or
Yeah. I mean, the way Randy and I work is, and this is another true story. I was shooting Daylight in Rome at Cinecittà Studios, and I was doing the visual effects on Dragonheart with the satellite hookup, and at night. And so Randy, I said, when you're ready with the themes, come on over. And so he came to Rome, and I had arranged for this grand piano to be put on a soundstage. And we were walking over to the soundstage, and a big, really brooding and heavy thunderstorm and lightning started to happen. And the minute we walked into the soundstage, the lights went out and the electricity to the studio died. And you're in a soundstage which is pitch black, no windows, no safety lights in Rome anyway. And so we had a general idea where the piano was, and we kind of stumbled like two blind men in the dark till we got to the piano. And then he sat down, and once he centered himself on the keys, he started to say, and this I think is Bowen's theme, and this is the Dragon's theme, and blah, blah, blah. And then we got to the thing, and he said, you've got the movie Tracked with Samuel Barber's Adagio, listen to this. And he played that cue, and I was weeping uncontrollably.
It's unbelievable.
And it was, it was done, and that's the movie. That's what went in.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It is. It's a beautiful movie. It didn't get its due at the time, but creating the first CGI acting character was one of the greatest challenges.
Yeah. Oh man, so historical.
but that score going with the whole idea of resurrection, you know, Dennis Quaid, everything. It's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, I love it.
And then Chad and JT, at what point did you guys like realize what you had is this amazing, you know, actor comedy, like, you know, performance art? Like, I just love everything that you do. Did you guys have like a strategy of like, was it city councils, or did you want to start doing like the things you've been doing for Fast?
You know, it's interesting. I mean, with the councils, it's sort of like whenever we as weird as it sounds, we kind of just go with the flow, you know. Like with the councils, it's like whenever we're sort of like struck with a petition or something to go in with, that's when we'll go in. We don't really try and like force it and do it, you know, like at a certain time. It's just whenever something like inspires us, then we head in. And then in terms of we kind of just follow our own joy, I guess, like with the
That's
scene.
the best way, man. That's the best way.
Yeah, like with the Fast scenes, I mean, I've always wanted to sort of recreate that movie because I love it so much, you know. So, and my buddy Strider and we did like a scene, like a quarantine scene where we did Romeo and Juliet, you know, like the balcony scene.
Oh,
and
I love that.
Yeah, we can like create this, you know, from our respective locales. And I was like, well, why don't we just do Fast and Furious? And then, you know, we put the first one out and people loved it. So we're like, we're just gonna keep doing them as much as we can.
Well, good, man.
And it's a like we want to redo the
making
whole
me
movie.
happy.
JT, did you and Chad, like, did you guys identify yourself as actors, or is that something that?
No, I probably don't identify as it. Chad's a really good actor though, so I think
I don't know, man. Your Vin is pretty good, dude.
Yeah,
I think for me the most fun thing is doing something new. You know, it's always like, what's the new kind of interesting way we could perform. So it's fun to do this, and then I think the prospect of redoing the entire film and trying to see how we could logistically do that is really exciting. And just being able to, I don't know, when you do something so weird, but you do it all the way, like the commitment to it, I guess that's what I really enjoyed too. Is like, I hope we do the whole entire film, and I hope people could watch it from front to back.
Yes, please.
You know, I'll be there opening night.
Rob, obviously we have to ask you, I mean, you know, when you're shooting something, everyone hopes that it's good. But did you know that this thing was just going to become so immortal? I know you and I spoke about this on your podcast, but, you know, I mean, like, think about it. Chad, JT, me, I mean, it was 2001.
Yeah, I mean,
in 19 years.
Anyone who tells you they knew is a liar. What I knew is from the minute I read the Vibe magazine article, I thought there was a really unique film in that material, and that these street racers and their culture and their language and the language of the cars and the whole thing was fascinating to me. And I went after it. You talk about, JT, about going after something. I had an idea to get this world on film with a story that we stole from Point Break, and just get this whole sense of a new cast. They were not your standard actors that you saw in films at that time.
Right.
You know, they were unknowns, they were multicultural, multiracial, and it was just, let's go after this story and this world and bring it to film. And when I was done with it, I knew that I had succeeded within my own parameters, my own goals. I went, okay, that's the movie I wanted to make. And the fact that the studio thought so little of the film is one of the reasons it was purely presented, because they never came by the editing room to give me their helpful hints. You know,
right.
The producers, nobody came by. So I just made the film I wanted to make. And by the time they saw it, it was the first sneak preview. And people went nuts. So what were they going to tell me? They know how to make it better.
Yeah.
You know? So you know, they were locked in. They couldn't do anything because, you know, their negligence had been the benefit of the movie.
And let alone they fucking made like 20 more movies out of it that, you know, have nothing to do with racing at all.
I can't
Yeah,
go there
yeah.
without, you know, let's just say if it were my franchise that I controlled, I would not be going in those directions. But they've made billions and billions and billions and billions. And in Hollywood, that's all they really care about. They don't care that what the legacy that the original could have had for them.
And go for it.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was literally going to ask, like, I know you guys had some questions about.
Yeah, I was wondering what you had seen Vin Diesel in before. Like, how did you know he would be? And he's so incredible in that part. He has so much gravitas, and like he's such a natural leader in it. What did you see him in that made you think he'd be the right fit for it?
When I met with Vin, I saw that he had this, you know, quality, because I then saw Pitch Black, and it was like, okay, this is a guy who has a presence, he has charisma, but in Pitch Black, he's not a real character. He's a cartoon, larger than life character. And so it was mainly meeting with him and working with him and just deciding that Dominic was going to be a real guy and the real best side of Vin. And our director-actor relationship really fleshed that out, and he rose to the occasion in a beautiful way. And then, you know, we went on to do Triple X together right after it. So it was that thing of taking a guy who was ready to pop, who had movie star written all over him, but finding the role and the film that would frame him in a light that would make him the movie star he became.
Yeah, so beautiful. And then
after making these scenes, that's one thing JT and I talk about is how well cast the movie is.
It's well cast in your movie too.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, we realize it more and more as we do it.
In your film, she's great.
Ivy Miller.
She's amazing.
Oh, she's good. Is that your girlfriend or?
No. I think my real girlfriend's mad that I involved her in.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious for you guys, you know, obviously living in LA, and you know, you went on Ellen and everything happened. I'm sure you had WME, CAA, everyone calling you. What started interesting? Because you guys, can you talk about your podcast?
Yeah, so I think our house party speech sort of blew up, and that's when we first started getting a following, and then we kind of just had this idea just to start a podcast, and just because we had, you know, we were starting to get fans, and it's like, what if we answer fans' questions, and it kind of grew from there. And I don't know, JT, if you want to expand more on it.
Yeah, I think Chad drove the ship on it, and he was like, look, I think we should get a podcast. Like, you know, some people want more content from us. And then at first it was just us being ourselves, just being bros. And then the bros that were writing into us were so sincere. So it kind of morphed into a very sincere version of itself, where we're just giving straight advice to bros about how to kind of live their best and happiest life, which is like a huge, which is cool. That's chill.
Really cool.
Yeah.
But where do you go from here? I mean, how do you see, other than the recreating scenes from my film, what do you see is your goal? Where are you headed?
Well, you've made a lot of movies, so if we recreate scenes from all of them, I think
is the Skulls next?
The Skull, dude. Yeah. Caleb Mandrake. I mean,
Caleb Mandrake.
Dude, I'm calling for a role in that one. Let me play.
I think I'm gonna play William Peterson's part. I like his accent in the film, and I like rivalry with Craig T. Nelson. So I think that might be my angle.
Would you like your life back, Lou?
Yeah, my stepdad went to Yale, and he was in a secret society.
Oh,
Not Skull and Bones, but as far as I know, they didn't have dueling in his. But I keep pressing him on it.
It's
Yeah.
a great ending. The duel.
Yeah.
Caleb's a crack shot. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's such a good ending.
Emotion is so high, and that
Yeah.
father, what a dick.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was always thinking when we were developing it that it was sort of like, you know, George Herbert Walker Bush and George Bush,
Yeah,
you know, that went to Yale. They were in Skull and Bones. You know, it's like, you know, that was like this political dynasty set up within
Yeah.
Skull and different. Maybe it would have gone on to a third Bush, but you know, it is a real thing about these power elites set up in these Ivy League schools, you know, and other elitist organizations. You know, I went to Harvard and they didn't have eating clubs. I mean, they didn't have secret societies. They had these eating clubs like Porcellian and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you didn't get in there unless you were probably a legacy or something. It was a way that these people who would then take over the society because they're groomed to be that, would interact and have these bonds, deep bonds from college on, so that they would work together, whether they were in law or finance or medicine, whatever, that these groups all had these connections. And, you know, so that's what I liked about doing the movie. And, you know, I loved working with Paul and Josh Jackson. And
Josh is great. Yeah.
Leslie Bibb was great too.
Oh
yeah,
God.
she was so good. Unpopular too. Yeah, she was killer.
Yeah.
Well, Chad and JT, you guys have some scenes prepared, right?
Oh yeah, I let's see. Let me pull it up.
I got this relatively late. So what page are we doing? I'm very nervous.
Dude, I was thinking maybe we could do the scene where Paul picks up Vin in his car.
After the first race?
Yeah, after he's running from the cops and he's like, "Get in."
All right,
Oh, love that
there's,
scene.
There's more back
Yeah.
and forth.
tell me what page, and,
First,
and I'll read the stage directions.
David
All right.
Ayer did a rewrite on this script?
David Ayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Ayer was the last writer in, and I relied on his draft more than anybody else's. You
Yeah,
know, he
yeah.
had,
I love his movies.
when you hear the sort of street poetry, yeah, you know, the buster didn't leave me in handcuffs.
Yeah.
I never knocked on nobody.
Yeah, that's David Ayer. That's-
Oh wow, nice. Yeah.
A lot of the great scenes and lines are from David's draft.
Yeah,
And-
Harsh
and-
Times has that vibe too, where it has that really good
Totally.
like, street dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he was a guy, I met him, he was living with a nanny of a friend of ours, you know, mine, and he was just down the street, and he'd just gotten out of the Navy. And, you know, I met him and I thought like he was so good and he understood so many things intuitively. And then he gave me his script of Training Day, and I thought it was the most brilliant script I'd ever read. And in terms of capturing that patois of the street, of the cops, of the druggies, of the, you know,
Yeah.
black dialogue, white dialogue. And, you know, so when we needed more work to get this script to where I wanted it to go, I gave him a holler and he just jumped aboard, and we went out to the Pomona Fairplex to a car show of tuner show, and that's where we started picking up the lingo, and that's when we really felt we knew where the movie was.
Wow.
Before we jump in the scene, I'm sure Chad and JT can relate. Like my high school parking lot was filled with like wannabe cars from that movie. How did you guys get that, like, you know, Nas and all the other things and Valeside, like that whole culture and all the things that are integrated in those cars? Like I didn't even know that existed. Maybe because I don't know how old you guys were, but I think I was like 11 when the movie came out.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm just so curious how you got that so accurately. Because like that world just seems so natural.
Well, I met a street racer named R.J. DeVera. He's even in the movie. He's the Asian American driver in the 4-car drag that Paul's in and Vin's in and Ja Rule's in.
The one playing the games?
Yeah, the guy playing video games.
Yeah.
He was a great help, and he took me deep into that world.
Mm.
And I would rely on him to make certain judgments when I was picking which were the hero cars. And I just always said to him, I want this to be a wet dream car.
Yeah.
Did you always know that NOS would become such like a huge cultural thing from the movie? Because I mean, after that, I was like, oh, dude, NOS, I need NOS.
Wait, I'm so sorry. This is embarrassing. Is it real?
NOS? Yeah.
Oh wow! I had no idea.
Let me go pop the hood on my Prius right now.
I mean, it's a rapid expander of gas, and it just puts so much power through the whole engine system on a button, on a hit, and you don't need a lot, and it's highly explosive.
Yeah.
And so that was at the time when I was going, we need to get into the engine to understand this stuff. We need to fly through the engine. We need to see what a knot hit really does to a car, and how it can blow your manifolds. How it can really damage the car too if you don't know what you're doing and don't do it right.
Yeah.
But it just seems so cool to give Walker Paul that line going, I need NOS.
Yeah.
By tonight. That's amazing. Oh man.
Yeah.
Should we do the scene?
Do the
Actually, I was thinking maybe we just do the one. You had me, you never had me, you never had your car. JT, are you done to do that one?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, yeah.
Do you guys?
It's
What?
Go to it.
Do you guys want stage
that's all
directions?
me though.
Do you guys want stage directions or no?
Well, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, let me find the. Let's see.
Are you cool with that, JT? It's a little heavier on the dialogue for you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dude, honestly, Chad, you should do it. You have it memorized.
That's true.
Yeah, you do it.
You want to do Paul?
I'll do Paul. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we starting with Jesse's line? Oh no, that's you're in. Let's go.
So yeah, it's page 27.
Okay.
Scene
Interior
59.
Because you don't even need the script. Like Chad can do this scene. I listen to him do it almost every day.
What? Starting with what smile you lost? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Should I read stage directions?
Yeah.
All right,
Please.
Cool. Exterior, boulevard, finish line night. The racers slow, do U-turns, and return to the finish. The cars and the tires are hot. Brian Super smokes. Spectators rush forward. The three racers get out of their cars. Hector pulls up in his Integra, gets out, hands them the titles to Dominic, who casually folds them, tucks them in his pocket, never expecting any other outcome. Dominic sees Brian leaning against the Supra, grinning like an idiot, high on adrenaline, in danger.
What are you smiling about?
Dude, I almost had you.
You almost had me? You've never had me. You've never had your car. Granny shifted, not double clutching like you should. You're lucky that double shot of NOS didn't blow the welds on the intake. Almost had me? Now me and the mad scientist got to rip apart the block and replace the piston rings you fried. Ask any racer, any real racer. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. Then he does the... Sorry, I think I breezed through the stage directions there.
It's okay. I love it.
Well,
That's amazing.
we had the crowd, the extras, all very involved in that scene.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love seeing them all wave their hands
Woo!
like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they were mostly real street racers and their girlfriends and stuff like that. And I just said to Vin, play to them. That's your audience. Play to them. And they just went right along with him. So every time you go, you didn't even have your car, and they go, woo!
Yeah.
It's just like everybody had a genuine reaction. Sometimes I watch the movie, I just look at the extras because they're they're so real and they're so in it.
Rob, can you tell them the Ja Rule girl story? He's got Fire Festival. No one gives a fuck about Ja.
All right, yeah, that's true. So, like, we cast Ja Rule, but he never was available to meet till the night of the shoot. So AD told me, Ja Rule's here and he's in his trailer. So I go, well, I got to go over there and meet him. But the truth is there was nothing scripted for him. It was like, we wanted to have a kind of rapper in the film for street cred and everything, but nobody had bothered to figure out what the role was. So I'm thinking, well, what is his shtick? What kind of shtick can I give him, the character? I went in there, his trailer, and at first he was sitting around with a group of people, and I thought they were eating dinner because there was this big bowl of green in the center of the table. I thought they were having a big salad. But of course, it was the ganja man,
Yeah, dude.
It was the weed, and they were rolling these big spliffs, and he's smoking, and I'm saying, "Hey, man, I'm so happy you're going to do the film." And he said, "I said, who?" He said, "This is my girlfriend Monica, and this is this one, and that's on." And so he said, "Well, what's my part? What am I going to do?" And I said, "You're going to race for a threesome with Monica and her girlfriend."
Wow.
Right off the top of my head, I just went, that's your character.
Yeah.
And then the girl, the real Monica, the really built one that comes up to him and goes, "You can have me and her."
Yeah.
She turned out to be an absolute natural actress. She never acted
Yeah, she's so
before.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
And she comes up and, "Vincent," whatever. What was his name?
Edwin.
Edwin.
Yeah.
Edwin. Yeah, Edwin, you can have me and her, right? And the rest, we just improvised, because we shot a lot of it on the street, but in that area of those warehouses. But then a lot of that actual dialogue was done with visual effects on a stage. So by the time we got to the stage, I had worked out, the whole, menage.
Monica!
Let's go.
Oh God, he was great to work with, Ja. Really great to work with.
Well, we all got to get a film together. You, me, JT, and Chad.
I'm there.
Let's start
Yeah.
some adventure film.
All right.
Let's
I'm
do it.
in.
I
Yeah, me too.
got my DGA card ready to travel.
All right.
No, but
Well-
guys, I think you're great. I think what you stand for is great. I think your approach to the world is beautiful. And I really enjoyed getting to know you a little bit. And I'm not kidding about Bali. If you really want to take the trip, you got a place to stay.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Thank
yeah.
you.
And
Yeah,
thank you so much.
well,
That means so much to us.
We should all go together. It'd be fun.
Yeah.
We can do it.
Yeah, let's
live.
do it.
Well, the Fast and Furious lives on. Next year, maybe we should all get together after Q-Teen and have a celebratory screening in LA or, somewhere cool at the warehouses.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
any final questions, guys?
Yeah, I got two.
Yeah.
I'm such a huge fan of your filmography, Rob. One of my favorite films that you did is the Rat Pack, the Frank Sinatra movie.
Thanks. I love
It has so many different elements to it, like the way that you handle Sammy Davis Jr.'s racial issues, and I never knew about him and his Swedish wife, I think it was, and that was all compelling. The way he had to kind of, hide himself a little bit even from his friends was really interesting. But the shot that I love the most from that film is where you show all the guys in their different bedrooms and what they're getting up to, and then it's like it builds up to Frank having a threesome, and then go through the wall, and then Dean Martin is just drinking a glass of milk in his room. That was like, I don't know. I remember watching that with my parents, and I just loved it so much. To me, that was one of your most like formally inventive films too.
Yeah, it was because, it was for HBO and that's what they wanted. They, when you work for studios, they don't tell you take the shackles off. They want a predictable product.
Right.
When in those days at HBO, it was, hey, here's this script, do with it what you want. We're expecting it to bust some seams. So I went at it that way, and and it was I had a wonderful cinematographer in Shane Hurlbut, Nancy Foy, the casting director, and I put together that great cast. I mean, they were, just Ray was so good to work with, and Don Cheadle and Joe Montagna and Bill Peterson and Angus McFadden and Deborah Carr Unger. They were just really stellar and really inhabited the characters. So I'm glad you like it because it's one of my faves.
Yeah, like the Sammy Davis dance scene towards the racist is also another one where it really visually is just great. Yeah.
Well, that caused a lot of stink when I ordered that neon sign. It said, the N word in 10-foot neon, and it had little Jewish Star of David chase signs running all over it. And
right.
I heard the line producer calling the studio, like his door was partially open, and I could hear him, and he's going, "Look, he wants this sign, and it says bad things on it, And I just knew that what the racism that Sammy Davis felt, and that many people felt, they ingest it. It gets in them. And that's why I picked you. I Got You Under My Skin and turned it into a anti-race song.
Right.
Where he's got contempt. And Sammy Davis was picketed in Washington, D.C. by the Ku Klux Klan because he was dating Maya Britt, who was the Nordic goddess. And so the film is all based on real things that happened, but I took a little bit of a surreal approach to things so that you could feel it, not just know it like a documentary,
And Chad and JT, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
The world is in crazy times, and like, I think Rob and I, we're just so inspired by your enthusiasm and your social media. How are you guys able to stay stoked in a bummer time, to say the least?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we say this on a podcast, like the stoke lies within, and there's always there has been, especially during the coronavirus scare, and then the recent weeks, it's been a more trying time. But I think it's certain things. I mean, I do certain things, like just like I do like breathing exercises. I meditate. I go surfing. That really helps me to stay out of my head and just to stay present, I guess. And but also just getting absorbed in our work too. I think really just we sort of have like a mission, and that really keeps me at least stoked, I guess. JT, do you have anything?
Yeah, I guess I mean, ditto on what Chad said, and then also I try to think of the good, especially, I mean, it's easier with the protests and stuff to see the good that's going to come out of that, because it's already happening, and it feels so needed and unifying. But then with like the coronavirus and stuff, I just try to, like, every time my roommate and I, it gets nighttime, I just turn to him and I'm like, we made it. We made it.
Yeah.
I'm like, we did it. Like, we're beasts. Like, it's another hard day and we made it through to the end. So I just like bite-sized accomplishments like that and just trying to be grateful for just making it through another day, because it's crazy right now. So I'm just stoked, and then I get to do this with you guys.
Oh,
like,
man.
I mean, this is fucking huge. So it's stuff like this, and then just being, I got my Xbox. I can play Call of Duty with my buddies from high school, and with Chad, who has been ripping at Warzone lately, and then
JT's better.
and no, come on, and then so just stuff like that. Little things, I guess.
That's amazing. Go
ahead.
No, you go for it.
I think looking back on it too, like, when like the coronavirus first happened, we were working on some stuff, and it was put on pause, and so you think like, oh, this is like the worst time for this to happen, but then you look back, and it's created all these other opportunities for us to work on different things that we were passionate about, like these scenes, the Fast and Furious scenes. So I think just sort of having that perspective of like understanding that everything is kind of just having this inner belief that everything is happening in your favor in a sense. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Yeah.
Rob, how about for you?
Well, I took this opportunity I think I'm on my third script, that I've been writing. And, if this hadn't come along, it might, this would have happened, that would have happened, but, you don't get this time. And, I'm basically newly married again, and it was a chance for my wife and I to spend all this cloistered time 24/7, and finding out that we really are a real match, because we did not have a bit of tension. All we did was love each other and support each other. So you're right. Your philosophy is smack on, dead on. You can create your joy, and circumstances can give you an unjoyful condition, but your joy is stronger than the condition. And if you follow that like you guys do, and that's why I love what you are and stand for, because it does my heart good to know that there are other people in the world who understand that you make your joy. You don't look to be handed your joy. And bad times lead to really good things. Like, look at the protests and all this. This is definitely going to change America. We're going to get rid of Trump because of what happened to George Floyd, and because of his ineptitude and his racism in handling that, on top of his ineptitude of handling the coronavirus. So it's things are, some people say, oh, they're meant to happen. I don't know if they're meant to happen, but there's a causality that comes out of the worst dark corners and brings us light and beauty. And you guys are definitely vehicles of light and beauty.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
That's so nice. Yeah,
Rob,
you do.
I know you just answered it, but final question. Chad and JT, can you talk about what's next for you guys? Or is it hush hush?
JT, do you have?
I mean, we're just gonna keep working on little. We have some big things relative to what we've done that I think we're really excited about, and but we're not allowed to say more than that. But hopefully you guys dig it when it comes out. Yeah.
Well, I'm serious. Let's all get a project together. It'd be so fun.
I love that.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. Rob, JT, Chad, man, it means so much to me that you guys came on. I'm huge fans of all three of you, and I got so much love for you, and you guys make my life a lot better. So this was a lot of fun. I hope.
Kudos back at you, Ryan, for getting yourself together, and for your whole podcast, which has really gone deep with a lot of wonderful actors that have had a chance to talk that aren't the actors that would get on the Tonight Show, or they're not the regular Vanity Fair crowd.
Oscar, Fendi bullshit. Appreciate that.
Chad, Ryan, thank you so much, dude.
Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
I'm an actor. Let's collab, man. Anytime. I'd love that, man. I love you guys. And